So joining me on the call today, I've got Kath Rimmer. Welcome to the call, Kath.
Thank you for having me here, David.
It's a pleasure. Today we're talking about DISC behavioural profiling, and I suppose for the uninitiated, what it is, for the initiated, why they need to use it more, and for the people who have sort of been using it for a long time, what's the distinction between that and the other sort of tools that are available. So maybe just give us a sort of background, Kath, what brings you to the table as a DISC person?
Yeah, so I've been working with DISC for well over 10 years, and Myers-Briggs the same. I discovered it in a conference with staff. I was working with, there was 200 odd in the room, and the thing that led me to understand why DISC is so important is I was sitting next to the chief operational officer of the bank, and he looked at my profile and he actually saw that there was a difference in my natural and adapted style. And he said, if you're stretching too much, you'll end up sick. And I actually did. So I went, wow, there's so much more to this than people are aware of. And it has been created, it's been around since the 1920s. It is a behaviour management tool. It was created by a psychologist, William Marston.
Yep.
And there's 4 dimensions of human behaviour and communication styles.
Yeah, fantastic. So what's the application? So I'm a business owner and I'm running my business, and a profile sounds like a bit of science. How do I use it? What's the purpose of it?
The biggest thing is understanding yourself so you can then understand others. So we talk about the pace of how quick people work. It's a simpler system than some of the others. We also talk about if people are task or people focused. And the applications are very strong in 4 or 5 main areas: the improving team dynamics, improving sales and negotiations dealing with your customers, improving leadership, and also improving that team dynamics. The biggest thing at the moment is recruitment and retention of your A team and your A player staff.
Yeah, right.
And it is such a vital tool that can be implemented that people just aren't aware how much it can help.
Yes, because I think, when we talk about recruitment, and most people, recruitment's sort of undervalued. Yeah. And what I'm saying is that everyone's looking for good people, but good people is a very subjective term, right? When we say good people, what do we mean? Well, they say people who can do the job. Yeah, okay, so is it skills or is it attitude? And they go, well, both, right? And as you and I both know, skills is something you can teach. Attitude is something that's pretty much part of a personality style.
Yes.
Harder to change. So using a tool like this, we're not saying, has this person got the skills for the job? We're saying, are they going to fit into the role because of their personality traits?
Yeah, to a degree. And that's where that job fit comes in, because if you put someone into a fast-paced, make a quick decision job, but they're actually a slower paced, task-oriented research person, they're not going to cope long term.
Right. So even though they've studied how to do this particular role and they've got qualifications, they may not have the personality profile.
It's more behaviour, or just to clarify there, personality is a lot underneath that, but the behaviours, their behaviours and their abilities, yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay, so I suppose the magic wand of DISC is to really make sure we're not only looking at skill sets, we're looking at behaviours.
Yes.
And we're saying, are you the kind of natured person that would thrive in this role?
Yes.
Versus, do you have the skill set?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And it's not saying that they're in a box. It's one of my pet hates about these tools. We can still stretch. We can still be a slower paced person that makes a quick decision and be, very confident. But we need to be able to stretch and go back to our natural state when we perform better.
And look, I suppose from literally a business owner perspective, I look at every one of my employees as an investment.
Yes.
Which means I'm paying money, and I like to see a return on that. And one of the best ways to optimize that is to put the right person in the right role.
Yes, and I liken that to tuning your car up. If you don't service your car, if you don't tune it up, if you're not putting the right fuel in, you're going to have problems.
So rather than going in all the details of this is literally what you're going to be covering in your session. And so giving business owners those tools so that they can use DISC profiling to better understand their team, You touched on communication and leadership as well. And for me, like the big theme that we're going through this cycle is communication. And I often find people don't invest much time in their communication. They are frustrated and make lots of assumptions like, oh, can't I just get them to do this? And why aren't people returning my calls? And why can't I get people who just do what I tell them to? And the short answer is communication. The long answer is all of these different elements really come to the table. So getting the distinction on how to use DISC to recruit, how to use DISC to communicate, which includes sales, leadership, management, is really key to giving people the edge in business.
Absolutely. And that adjustment, learning to adjust. Yeah.
So what are they going to walk away with from that session?
They're going to walk away with an overview. It's going to be an interactive session. They'll be able to quickly identify their own types and some of their team members. If there's enough on the call, we can do some breakout rooms. And it's something that they can apply it straight away.
Yeah.
They don't need to spend, like some of the other tools out there, it takes a bit more to learn and understand and then implement. Where the DISC is used a lot in businesses because it's quick and easy to understand. Your team can understand it, where something like Myers-Briggs tends to be more the managers and take a bit more time in learning.
Yeah, gotcha.
And just to clarify too, Myers-Briggs and DISC are not that different. They're just different levels, and they come from the same foundations of Carl Jung. So, if there's people out there saying they're different, they're actually not. They're just different delivery tools.
Fantastic. All right, so we're basically looking at the 2nd of March. It's going to be a DISC profiling workshop where you're going to give people the guts of how to use DISC in their business. The takeaway is going to be it's going to improve their communication, their sales, and also their team selection. Yeah, brilliant.
Absolutely.
All right, Kath, thanks for sharing, and we look forward to running that session in March.
Great. Thank you very much. I look forward to working with you guys. Thanks.
Cheers.